On April 13, 2026, a Chinese company called Geely held a press conference and announced something that engineers had spent decades calling physically impossible. Not difficult, not expensive, impossible. The number they put on the screen was 48.41%. And if that sounds like a random statistic, let me tell you what it actually means in plain English. When your car burns fuel, most of that energy disappears. It goes out the exhaust as heat, it gets soaked into the engine block. It vanishes into grinding metal parts. A normal car from a top brand like Toyota or Volkswagen only uses about 30% of the energy in the fuel you pump in. 70% is just gone, wasted, turned into heat that does absolutely nothing useful for you. For over 100 years, engineers have been trying to shrink that waste. And the best any mass-produced car engine had ever achieved in history was 41%. Toyota celebrated that number like a moon landing. They spent billions of dollars getting there. They told the world it was essentially the ceiling, that going any higher would cost more than it was worth and push right up against what the laws of physics even allowed. Geely just walked past that ceiling like it was not there. Certified, officially measured, recognized as a Guinness World Record. That is not a small step forward. That is not a software update. That is an entirely different universe of engineering. And the wildest part is not even the number itself. It is how they actually did it. That story involves a tornado inside a cylinder, an engine that deliberately runs hot and cold at the same time, and in one one-in-one machine that looks nothing like a traditional engine. If you are new here and you love stories about technology that genuinely changes the world, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell right now. We cover these engineering breakthroughs the moment they happen, and you do not want to miss what is coming next. But first, let us make sure you actually feel the weight of this number. Because to understand why 48% is so absurd, you need to understand why 41% was supposed to be the finish line. Why 40% was supposed to be the wall. Think of a combustion engine like a campfire stuffed inside a metal box. You throw fuel in, it catches fire, the explosion pushes a piston down, and that motion eventually turns your wheels. Simple enough on paper. But here's the problem. Fire produces a massive amount of heat, and heat does not care about your wheels. It wants to spread everywhere equally, into the metal walls, into the air around the engine, out the exhaust pipe. The engine is constantly fighting to keep that energy pointed in one useful direction, and it loses most of that battle every single time. There is a rule in physics called the Carnot limit. You do not need to memorize the name, but here's what it means in plain language. There is a hard mathematical ceiling on how efficient any heat engine can ever be. It depends on how hot your explosion is versus how cold your exhaust is. The bigger that gap, the more work you can theoretically squeeze out. But there are limits on both ends. Make the explosion too hot and you melt your own engine. Keep the exhaust too cold and your pollution control systems stop working. For decades, engineers at Toyota, Honda, BMW, and Volkswagen treated 40% like a brick wall. Getting from 35% to 41% took billions of dollars and decades of patient refinement. Toyota got there using a clever trick called the Atkinson cycle, where you leave the intake valve open just a tiny bit longer than normal. That small change reduces wasted compression energy and squeezes out a few extra percentage points of efficiency. When Toyota hit 41% with their 2.5L dynamic force engine, the entire industry stood up and applauded. Engineers published papers stating that going significantly further was practically impossible at any reasonable cost. The prevailing wisdom was that pure electric vehicles were the future anyway. So why keep pushing a technology that was already being phased out? That assumption turned out to be one of the most expensive misjudgments in modern automotive history. And while Western automakers were busy betting their companies on a fully electric future, engineers in China were asking a very different question. What if we just started over from scratch? That question led to the first crack in the wall, and it came from a company you may already know. The first warning shot nobody took seriously. Before we talk about 48%, we need to talk about 46, because that is where the story really begins to shift. BYD, which stands for Build Your Dreams, looked at the traditional hybrid car and basically called the whole design outdated. It is thinking about your entire journey in a way no human driver ever could. The combined result of all of this, the fire tornado combustion, the split thermal zones, the one-in-one drive unit, and the AI power routing, is a certified fuel consumption figure of 2.22 L per 100 kilometers. That is a Guinness World Record for production vehicles. On a full tank, you are looking at a range of over 2,000 kilometers. That combination of numbers changes the conversation about what a car can actually be, and that is worth talking about directly. What this actually means for the rest of the world. Here is the honest picture. Pure electric vehicles are genuinely great in the right conditions. Silent, efficient, zero tailpipe emissions on the road. But they come with real trade-offs that millions of buyers around the world are not ready to accept yet. A large electric SUV needs a battery pack that can weigh over 500 kilograms. Charging infrastructure is still thin across huge parts of the globe. And range anxiety is a real practical barrier for real people with real lives. What the Geely EMI system represents is a completely different path through the transition. You get the smooth, silent, instant torque commute of a fully electric car for your daily driving, but your total range is over 2,000 kilometers. You can fill up at any petrol station on the planet. You do not need a charging network, and the fuel cost per kilometer is comparable to a pure electric vehicle in most markets. The vehicle doing all of this is not a small, lightweight commuter either. This is a full-size SUV burning less than 2.5 L per 100 kilometers in real-world conditions. For Western and Japanese automakers, this creates a genuinely difficult challenge. The internal combustion engine was invented in Europe. Germany, France, and Britain dominated it for over a century. Japan refined it to what everyone thought was near perfection over 50 years. The record for combustion engine efficiency now belongs to a company that did not have a serious global automotive presence 15 years ago. Closing that kind of gap is not something you do with a firmware update or a new advertising campaign. It requires rebuilding engineering pipelines, asking different questions, and funding years of research. That is a difficult ask when your investors are simultaneously pushing you to go fully electric, and your combustion technology is falling further behind at the same time. But for consumers everywhere, that competition is actually good news. History shows that when engineering ambition like this enters a market, prices drop and technology improves across the board. Legacy automakers will eventually respond. The question is just how much ground shifts in the meantime. What Geely has proven beyond any single number is that the combustion engine still had enormous life left in it. The limit was never the laws of physics. It was the limits of what people believed was worth trying. If you made it this far, you now understand more about engine efficiency than most people who write about cars for a living. And honestly, that feels like the right place to end. If you found this useful, hit the like button, subscribe, and ring the notification bell so you never miss a breakdown like this one. We are going to keep following this story as legacy automakers start to respond, and that is going to be a fascinating watch. Now, I want to hear from you. Do you think the 48% hybrid is the smartest bridge to a fully electric future? Or do you think pure electric vehicles will leapfrog all of this faster than anyone expects? Drop your answer in the comments below. I read every single one. See you in the next one.